And we need to also look at what we call the payee, you know, personal income tax. If people get jobs, that means they will do what? They will internally contribute. Then we need to also encourage internal production. So we are going to gain from excise duties. So when we look at it from that angle, we will internally be doing what? Developing the economy. But most importantly, we also need to look at where we are in terms of the economic perception. Because if the perception is wrong, you are going to suffer.
What's the perception now?
In this case, people have been saying we are out of recession. But practically, watchers have not seen that. And the only reason is because we are dealing with statistics. And this is what I have to say in terms of statistics. Mathematics is not statistics, but statistics is mathematics. And what that simply means is this. In mathematics, right, 1 + 1 is 2. But in statistics, 1 + 1 is X plus an error margin. That simply means probably all that we've been talking have not been right. And in totality, Nigeria has just generated an economic motion, but no kinetics to move the economy forward. But these are internal problems that we can all resolve.
Still looking at the options for Nigeria, the condensates will easily come to mind, looking at crude oil production.
Correct.
And the condensate. We are at about 1.75 million barrels per day crude production and 350,000 barrels per day of condensate. How can the country maximize that in terms of keeping the funding channel open and flowing to finance the budget?
Well, the condensate will generally add so much, you understand. There will be a big chunk, a reasonable chunk that we will make from condensate, because look at it this way. Condensate was excluded. Even gas was excluded.
So there's no... this practically means there's no need to worry about funding the 2018 budget.
Of course, we don't need to worry, but we need to have fiscal discipline, monetary discipline, and social and probably moral discipline. You know, the problem with Nigeria is not the availability of the resources.
What do you think is happening to the excess amounts that will be generated from this? In the past, it's gone to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. This time around, where do you think that will be headed to?
I have always supported planning for the rainy days. It is in the interest of Nigeria, and it is in the interest of future generations. Because it's one thing for you to embark on projects, and it is another thing for you to plan. So it is necessary. The last time we learned in the previous dispensation, probably governors fought legally for it, and they got it. And that was why everybody was crying foul. This time around, there is a need for savings. We just have to create that situation where people will see Nigeria as a very disciplined country. We shouldn't only be seen as a big country with great people and a bad model. We should be seen as a country that has very good economic model that can stand the test of time.
You know, a lot of people ask this question. I might as well just throw it to you just so we have a broader understanding of why.
Go ahead.
Is it that we produce that oil? Why do we need a cartel to dictate the rates at which we sell them?
Well, you are talking now about a global interest and a global cartel. The reason why you need to belong to an association, the reason why you need to belong to a group is for discipline. Because there are stronger forces that are more than Nigeria. Because you are now talking about technical, economic, commercial, operational, and political implications if we don't belong to a cartel. And that was why we are very happy that we have Russia leading 9 other countries that want to partner with Nigeria. Because if you don't have, remember, we have stronger countries like the US that has shale oil. If that is not done, once the price gets to a particular level and the cost per barrel becomes relatively cheap for them, then all they will need to do is to glut the market and rubbish everybody. So the umbrella of that cartel is actually protecting Nigeria.
So in speculating the markets, while oil prices could be, say, they're about, say, $60 per barrel in November of 2018, this is forecasting now.
Yes.
But experts believe that they will have to rise to somewhere about $80 per barrel. What do you think?
I will suggest it shouldn't get to $80 per barrel. Because when we talk about this low mobility oil, low mobility ratio oil, this shale oil, once you get around 57 to 60, then it becomes attractive for them. And if it becomes attractive, they will start producing, pumping, and they will glut the total market for Africa. I mean, for OPEC. and its member nations, and that will be destructive to Nigeria.
So what are the chances that Nigeria will likely, say, enjoy an exemption in the second quarter of 2018?
Well, it's going to be speculative, but this is what I have to say about even crude oil and fossil fuel. In the first place, we didn't do anything to have this crude oil or fossil fuel domicile in Nigeria. It was just based on the gift of nature and the interplay of geologic tectonics and geological activities. All we needed to do was to spend the minimum amount, bring this God-given wealth to the surface, use it to boost education, use it to boost health, use it to do other things. Because imagine what would have happened if we were exporting medical services, if we were exporting journalists like you, if we were exporting teachers.
I'm afraid that...
So we need to look internally. It was just a gift that we have as Nigeria, and we shouldn't abuse it or abuse God.
I do appreciate your time and your thoughts on this very important topic of Nigeria and the decisions taken by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, Zakabala. He is a petroleum engineer and chartered accountant. He's just spoken to us about these many angles to that. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us. And when State of the Nation returns, 2 village heads killed in the early morning attacks in Demsa, local government area of Adamawa State. We'll focus on that and security concerns as well. Stay with us.